Fiesta Mall in Mesa. I think this is probably the site that we have heard the most chatter around on Twitter, elsewhere. So what do you got on Fiesta Mall in Mesa?
Fun fact, when I first moved to Arizona, I first lived in Mesa. I lived very close to Fiesta Mall, which used to be a thriving regional mall and now has been shuttered for, I think, 5 years. Of course, MCC is still over there, and MCC is actually a huge school with plans to go 4-year if they haven't already. I don't even remember. There's a medical center there. So there's some pieces in place for sort of renovation of this area. Here's what I'll say about Fiesta Mall. Clearly, the city of Mesa would love to make something happen because, again, as I said, this is an area that needs renovation badly. That area of the city has really fallen into decay. It used to be one of the crown jewels, at least in the western half of Mesa. This option is not new. I know there have been a lot of breathless reports about Fiesta Mall suddenly on the Coyotes' radar. Fiesta Mall's been on the Coyotes' radar ever since Javier Gutierrez was named as president. He was brought in to find an arena solution. As he told us, that was priority number 1 through 10 from Alex Morello. He's known about this site. Coyotes haven't acted on this site in the past. So keep that in mind when considering what might be the best options. When you look at the geography, you say, well, it's not that far from everything else, but it's another 11 miles from the Tempe site. And anybody who's done that 101 drive between the North 202 and the 60 and how that all backs up and how ugly that gets, it's not an easy move to get out to Fiesta Mall from Tempe, and certainly not from North Scottsdale. I'm not saying it's as bad as Glendale, because it's not. I know some people have suggested that, but that's off base because we already know that 2/3 to 3/4 of their premium season ticket holders live on the east side of town. And even if you're coming from the North Valley, it's still closer than Glendale. Glendale's a schlep even from the North Valley. So it would be closer, and they have a lot of those premium season ticket holders in the Chandler Gilbert area as well. So it would be closer to their base. So I'm not going to cross it off entirely, but just know that it has some issues. Location, I still think, is an issue. It's been there a long time, which tells me that they're maybe lukewarm on it, and there are other options. I think there are other options.
Well, one of the comments, can you scroll up a little, Sean, from POB, Fiesta Mall is a good location. I don't think the area can support high-end shops and restaurants.
That's a really fair point as well. I mean, if you remember, Javier Gutierrez was touting the development in Tempe as the Rodeo Drive of Arizona or Tempe. I don't think that was the right message in Tempe. I definitely don't think it's the right message in Mesa. So does it lead to a rethinking of what they're trying to do in Mesa if they do go ahead with this? I don't know. The other thing to keep in mind, like Carvana CEO Ernie Garcia held the option on that land in Tempe. His company owns the land. He's the CEO of the company that owns the Fiesta Mall land as well. So that's an interesting wrinkle.
And one other thing that has come up has been about the potential for another public vote because of some of the privately owned land. What can you say about that?
Well, I mean, it was John Giles, the Mesa mayor, who told. Let me read what he actually told the city. I think this was Dennis Welch actually who did this report. He told him that he didn't think there would be a public vote, but the Mesa City Charter says that if the city incurs any form of debt in an amount greater than $1,500,000 and or exchange or grant city-owned land of a fair market value in excess of $1,500,000 to construct or aid in the construction of any amphitheater, sports complex, cultural or entertainment facility, arena, stadium, good God, legalese, convention facility, or multi-purpose facility without approval of the majority of the electorate voting thereon at the next ensuing election. So they can't do it without a vote. So I don't know how you structure a deal with that low a threshold. Maybe there's a way to do it. Maybe there's a way to tweak this deal to get it done. But keep in mind that anytime you're dealing with a municipality, there is that threat of a public vote. We just saw how it went in Tempe. I can also tell you this definitively. The Coyotes do not want another public vote. So anything that they pursue is probably going to try and avoid that.